Yes, controlling what you buy, what car you drive, the sort of things you're allowed to eat, how, it's just quite extraordinary.
How you think.
Meanwhile, the government's war on coal, the government's war on coal is continuing, Barnaby Joyce, based on all these insane scares that aren't true. The Environment Minister, Tanya Plibersek, today defended a decision to ban a coal mine in central Queensland. Here she is.
Really, the deciding factor for me was the scientific advice that we had from experts that, there were unacceptable risks here when it came to potential contamination of creeks, groundwater, and the effect that that potentially would have on the Great Barrier Reef.
Now, it's true Tanya Plibersek is basing her decision mainly on contamination of water rather than emissions, but everyone cheering it on is thinking another coal mine, good, not there. Your response?
Your second biggest export after iron ore, sometimes your biggest export. How do you think, look, this is really simple. If you've got a table with 10 people on it, and I get a $10 note, not that many people have them anymore, but a $10 note, and I pass that, and one person turns up with a $10 note and goes round the paper to the accountant who charges $10, who's sued by the solicitor who charges $10, who renovates the kitchen from the kitchen renovated $10, and around it goes. 10 by 10, $100. GDP of that table, $100. The person who brought it onto the table, well, they're only 10% of the GDP. But if that $10 note hadn't turned up, the GDP of that table would be zero. So what is the name of the person who brought that $10 note to the table? Coal miner, the iron ore miner, the gas, the farmer, the cotton producer, the beef producer, the person who brought dollars from overseas into your nation because, look at it, you're watching me on an imported television, you're wearing imported clothes, you got an imported phone in your pocket, you got an imported car with imported fuel. I mean, we understand, we've got to have this 101 lesson in economics, and you've got to understand how this fundamentally works. So when Tanya Plibersek shuts down a coal mine, don't cheer. Because what they're actually doing is shutting down the mechanism that brings wealth into our nation.
The children will not have much reason to thank us. Fake scares and killing the golden egg or the golden goose. Just quickly, Barnaby Joyce, something I think you probably know a little bit about. Alan Tudge quit today, the Liberal Minister, citing threats to his children. The smear of the ABC didn't mention that, but we know all about it. What's your response to all that?
Well, once more, the ABC is part of their religion. Surely, if they, I just think that I'm not going to make a judgment either way on Alan Tudge, but we all know the politicians in the past on both sides of the political fence who we could have done our documentaries on. It's funny how they're only ever on predominantly documentaries about people on the conservative side of politics. Isn't that a peculiarity? The others are lauded as larrikins, interesting people, colourful. But when it's on our side...
Funny guy.
Well, there you go. Great guy, larrikin. And, and I'm not going to chase, Bob Hawke, demorchis nil nisi bonum. But it's, what I don't like is that the ABC doesn't accept the consequences for what they create. And I'll tell you what, Alan Tudge's children had, you've created a nightmare for them. Do you accept responsibility for it? Do you accept that maybe your reports were wrong? Do you apologise? Do you want to go out and meet the children and say, might have had a bit to do with that, and I'm really sorry because apparently a lot of what we said was rubbish.
Oh, Barnaby, you're now, well, I thought you were a hard-headed realist, but now you're absolutely dreaming to think the ABC would apologise for anything. But
it annoys me so much. $1.1 billion. $1.1 billion each year.
Well, you guys had the chance.
Tell me the Conservative,
tell me the Conservative on the ABC's throat. You had your foot on the ABC's throat, and you didn't let them go. Barnaby Joyce,
I can tell you. And what happens is the bleeding people turn up and say, "Oh, we can't have a fight with the ABC." Mate, who's the Conservative reporter on the ABC? Who? Tell me one.
Not one that I know of. Not one. Barnaby, you've got to go. We'll talk about that another day. Thank you so much for your time.